Time now to head over to the kitchen for the first time. Let's check in with our culinary director, Judy Gallagher, and see what she is cooking up today. Hi, Judy.
Hi. Well, Passover is around the corner, and you know, when I grew up as a child, there were very limited desserts you could have. You had the canned chocolate macaroons or coconut macaroons, and usually Mom made a sponge cake with about a dozen or 2 dozen eggs in it. And that was kind of like our treats for the week. Passover is so modern nowadays. I'm going to teach you a great recipe for a toffee chocolate pecan covered matzah. You're going to make this year round. Now, you may have seen sort of similar recipes using saltines. Even if you don't celebrate Passover, use the matzah moving forward because it just holds up so well. It's going to make this delicious matzah candy brittle, and I think you're going to really love it. And a heads up to all those grocery stores out there. It's not just Manischew, it's wine anymore. Get with the modern trend and use those great kosher wines that we have out in Sonoma and Napa and so much more. So stay with me. I'm coming back with some really awesome Passover dessert. So here we go. I have about 2 cups of salted pecans toasting in the oven. Just going to toast them for a few minutes. It always extracts more flavor when you bring out those oils and nuts to toast them. Now I've lined a cookie sheet with aluminum foil. Now I'm going to lay down the matzah. This is just plain matzah that you buy at the store. And like I said, you don't have to be celebrating Passover, so you're just going to kind of measure it in to see where it fits. And this just about fits, just doing 2 sheets. If you need to break it up, you can break it up, but I find overlapping it is just fine because it's only going to go over like 1/8 of an inch. So now we have that part done. We're going to put 2 sticks of butter, or if you are following religiously, you can use the margarine that's kosher for Passover. So we're going to melt those. We're going to take out the pecans. The pecans need to cool before we can chop them just a little bit. Now, as the butter starts to melt, we're going to add a cup of dark brown sugar. This is where it's really important to keep stirring. So I'm going to bring the heat up so we can start to boil this, and then we'll drop the heat down. So we have the full cup of dark brown sugar in here and the melted butter. And then as I continue to stir, we'll cook this for about a total of, about 5 minutes. And when I come back, we'll pour it over the matzah and you'll see what else we get to do. Oh, this is gonna be so good. You're gonna wanna make a couple batches of this because they're gonna devour the first batch, and you're gonna want some more to last through the entire time of Passover. So I want you to get a look at this texture of the toffee, okay? Because this is just coming perfectly. You can see it thickens up. That's why you have to keep stirring it. So you get that thickness there. I'm waiting for the bubbles to come up, and then I know it's completely done. Now, some recipes will tell you to slightly cool this, but not so in my recipe that I'm using. We are just gonna crank this up, get those simmering bubbles again in there. They're starting to come up. So we're gonna take this beautiful toffee that we've just made, and we're going to take it. Remember, we have lined a cookie sheet with aluminum foil and parchment paper. Now we're just going to pour this on the matzah, okay? And get as much spread around. So we're going to be using a spatula because this toffee is so good. There's nothing like making homemade toffee, and you saw how easy it was. 2 sticks of butter, cup of dark brown sugar, and it does have to be dark brown. You want to get that molasses in there that really converts it to toffee. Then you start spreading it over every bit of it, okay? It's okay if the matzah breaks as you're starting to press down because we're going to break it up in the very end anyway. So spread this around, and you don't want to get it on your clothes. Toffee's very hot, like caramel, coming off that stove, so you want to be very careful not to touch it, okay? Not to have it drip on your hand or anything like that. So now that we know that it's covered pretty well and pretty evenly, we'll get a little bit out of that little cranny there. All right, this is really good. So what's going to happen is we're going to put this in the oven for 10 minutes, just with the toffee, okay? When it comes out, we're going to pour a 12-ounce package of a high-quality chocolate chips. You can use Ghirardelli, something like that. or milk chocolate. We're going to pour that over the top and let it sit, and then spread it as it melts. We're going to use coarse salt and pecans, and we are going to come out with such a great matzo toffee salted chocolate dish. Stay with me. We'll be tasting it soon.
Okay, this stuff is ridiculous.
I told you it was addictive. I told you.
Oh my gosh.
So we took that out of the oven, right? I just want everybody to see this last part. We took it out of the oven. We spread the chocolate chips. They melt on their own from the heat of that toffee. Then you sprinkle around those toasted pecans, and then we're going to do some coarse salt. And it's addictive. I don't even like sweets, and I've been sitting here eating half of it.
Oh, I could sit here and just eat and eat and eat if I wasn't careful.
Yeah, I know. It's dangerous, and there's something in it all blended together that just wants you to eat more. It's wonderful with your afternoon coffee. And when you're done with these, what you do is you want to cool them down for about 15, 20 minutes in the refrigerator, but you got to make sure it's cool. So this just lifts up, which is really awesome. Once you break it apart, put them in an airtight container and store it in the refrigerator. But ta-da! I mean,
and what's the name again?
It's matzo chocolate salted toffee.
There you go. And the recipe is on our website, mysuncoast.com. Seriously, you've got to get this recipe. Go check it out on the dining link. Judy, thanks very much.
Thank you, John.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover to all our friends out there. Start Saturday.
Yep. Scott?